Welcome to the Carnivore Cast, the podcast focused on the carnivore diet and lifestyle, with practical advice from successful carnivores, citizen scientists, and top researchers. I'm your host, Scott Meslinski, and I'm here to speak with experts and experienced carnivores to get answers to your biggest and meatiest questions while helping you live your best life as a carnivore. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the Carnivore Cast on Patreon. By becoming a patron, you'll help us reach more people and continue to create content on carnivore. There are also exclusive perks available, such as private Q&As, consultations with me, and more. Become a supporter at patreon.com/carnivorecast. Check the episode description for the link. Thank you, and I'll see you there. Lillie Kane at Lillie Kane _YouTube on Instagram has one of the best channels on YouTube with over 17,000 subscribers, where she shares amazing interviews with doctors and experts and carnivore veterans like Kelly Hogan, cool recipes like liver ice cream, and awesome vlogs and days of eating. Lillie is passionate about a nutrient-dense way of eating and helping others to achieve their happiest and healthiest lives possible. Welcome to the show, Lillie.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to talk with you.
Of course. So would love to just start with hearing a little bit more about you and your story. How did you get to this place? How did you discover this kind of way of eating and end up with a YouTube channel?
Okay, sure. Well, I guess I first started because I was always somebody who was like healthy looking. I never really struggled with weight or an autoimmune issue or mental health. And I went to college. I was really happy to finally not be 100 pounds and be called the skinny twig with the chicken legs. So I gained my freshman 15. By the end of the time, by the end of my freshman year, I gained the 20 actually. So I went up to 120. But I was happy about it. And then I ran track and field for all 4 years too, competitively in college. And then once at that time during school, I was able to, it was my first time being on my own where I got to choose, okay, I'm going to have a huge pie, like a whole entire pie after eating. And I'm going to have 5 cookies and just like eat whatever I want because I'm healthy looking and that it's not doing anything to me. And then when I graduated college, I kept my eating habits. But at that point I told myself, I'm not working out ever again. My knees are broken. I'm done beating myself up. So I'm not working out. I'm just going to keep eating what I'm eating. And then slowly my 120 pounds of like muscle turned into like 120 pounds of time to go to the gym again. And then I met my partner, my fiance at the time. He had already done keto. This is about 4.5 years ago. He already did keto. And then when he met me, you don't want to like initially tell someone like, oh, I don't want to have that donut with you. I don't want to have that pizza with you. So he was like just he was being a good person to date in the beginning. He was just going slow. And after enough of the Lillie diet, lots of quesadillas, lots of paninis, nothing like over the top. I mean, we didn't really go out to fast food a ton or have like, I don't know. I don't know what to define as bad, but eventually his health was starting to go back and reverse in the direction because he already had done a fruitarian lifestyle for a couple of years. He already did a vegan lifestyle. He did the vegetarian lifestyle. So he was just fixing some gut issues and skin issues and other things. So he was like, I have to go back to eating keto because I'm noticing a lot of symptoms and things popping up. And at that point, it was just kind of lonely eating my donuts by myself and eating my ice cream by myself. And he slowly started never pressuring me. He was just leading by example. But I started asking more questions. Oh, well, like, what's the difference between an organic banana and a regular banana? Or what's the difference? And just like, I had never heard anything. I never knew what a carb was. I was never taught anything. So he was involved in the health and nutrition world. And slowly from learning from him, I started getting into, okay, I'll just start eliminating foods here and there and realizing that I feel a lot better.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that relationship aspect you bring up is so interesting. because you mentioned like being a good sport. And I think probably for a lot of like carnivores or people who are super health conscious, it's actually really hard to date. I just remember when I met my wife, we were both in college. I was a junior, she was a freshman, and a lot of our dates revolved around just like picking out and eating junk food or going out to nice restaurants and having dessert. And I don't know what would have happened if like I was a carnivore at that time or she was a carnivore and the other one wasn't. So I guess how do you think people should handle that?
Yeah, it's really tough. He initially ate keto, and then because he thought he would never find somebody if he ate keto, he started reverting back to his bodybuilder diet at the time when I met him. So he wasn't even eating keto when I met him because of the fact that like I'm the weirdo and I want to attract somebody into my life. So I totally get that that's a thing. If someone's eating carnivore, I can understand how that would be really difficult to meet somebody and be like exclusively eating meat. But if you go out, let's say, to meet somebody at a restaurant, my logic is kind of like not address it, not really make it a big deal. Order the steak with the vegetables and potatoes, or order the whatever it is that you're ordering, and then just like move your fork through it. Not actually like that's not what.
Yeah.
And then I think just like if you can blame it on yourself, like, oh, I have a lot of allergic reactions to things, or like just taking the blame and not making it seem like I'm better than you for not eating chips, or I'm smarter than you for not having ice cream. Like, just, I'm allergic to dairy. Say something that will make it seem like it's on you, not on them.
Yeah. Don't turn it into a lecture or it's a science lesson. Completely agree. Cool. So what led you to trying carnivore, or trying a more nutrient dense way of eating?
So, initially, I was like, okay, I eat a lot of dessert, and dessert is great. I don't think I can just like eliminate dessert right away. I have to eliminate fruit first, because I know fruit is filled with sugar, and I love fruit. But I knew that if I said I can't do dessert, it would be more mentally tough. So I think I just decided to just see if I could eliminate the sugar first, because I knew that it's weird to say I had an addiction to sugar, because I don't think anybody would like ever say they have an addiction to sugar or admit they have an addiction to sugar. But I thought if I didn't have dessert every day, then like I was going to die and I wouldn't be able to fall asleep if I didn't have dessert. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to try not having fruit for a month, and then I'm going to try reducing my dessert intake. So I did the fruit thing, and I was like, I'm alive. And then I changed my dessert to having like they were like these keto dark chocolates you can get from Costco. I hate dark chocolate, never have liked dark chocolate. It was kind of like just to give me something at the end. But then I made a goal to do a whole month without dessert, and I did it. And I was like, I'm alive. This is great. And I feel like I can think better. I feel like I don't have as many mood swings. I'm having less cramps, like as a woman during my cycle. I feel like I have less, my dandruff was going away. I was just noticing things that I was not expecting, because I feel like when you have the sugars or the carbs as your predominant, or as in your life, then you don't really realize that you are having not as much clarity. It's like you're in a black and white movie, and then all of a sudden you get to have color again when you just start eating more aligned with what a human eats. And then after that, it was kind of like, okay, we watched a Dr. Berry video where he's like, eat these 6 foods and you're set. And I was like, I love the simplicity. I think it's super easy. You're telling me I don't have to make cauliflower wraps, cauliflower rice, cauliflower pizza crust. Like it was all cauliflower at that time. So then I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm not going to buy cauliflower and carrots and avocados. And then eventually I did carnivore for, I don't even know how long, because it was never like I put it on a date. It was never like my goal to eat keto or my goal to eat carnivore. And then at this point in time, I've learned so much about carnivore after having put myself out there on the internet, and that I don't know if eating a exclusively strict carnivore diet for me is best at this time. But we have carnivore days, we have carnivore meals. But then like today, well, I haven't, okay, well, so far I've eaten carnivore all day, but I know later this evening we'll probably have some berries or like half a slice of apple. Not like we're having like a whole apple or anything, but some cucumbers maybe, or just something.
Yeah, you're still carnivore in my book, for the record. I think that's great. That's super interesting, and I can totally relate to the keto things you were talking about back in like mid 2016. I was doing the exact same thing where I was like cauliflower pizza, cauliflower mashed potatoes, cauliflower this, cauliflower that, and like avocados, and like trying to make sure I get enough nuts and healthy fats. And that's when carnivore kind of hit me, and it was just like simple. I was like, I'm on it. I'll try this. So very similar story. And I guess what you mentioned just now, kind of what you've eaten today, but what does kind of an average day of eating look like for you these days?
So I would say like, I guess I would call myself animal based. And I just am more like, I would say, depending on the day, 80 to 100% carnivore. But then like in the summertime, we just want to do what's seasonal. So we want to do the seasonal fruits and vegetables, and then like on top of it, filter through some of the veggies. I kind of go off the Plant Paradox book from Dr. Gundry, the high lectin foods. So I feel like the vegetable is tough because it's like, okay, well, mushrooms feed fungus and this, and like all these different little things with vegetables, and then fruits are high in sugar. So we want to buy local fruit, local vegetables, in season fruits and vegetables. We went to a farmer's market, and like to go to Walmart and see the apple that's like crystal red, a beautiful looking apple, and then go and all of the apples at this farmer's market had bruises and dents. And we're like, man, this apple stinks, but that's an apple. So if we're going to have additional fruits and veggies, it is no grains, but fruits and veggies. So far in the past year, the fruit I've had are apples, blueberries, and then more recently, peaches and plums on a vacation. So that's in the past year, all the fruit I've had, though I would love to have more. It's just incredibly difficult to find local fruit in Missouri. And then for vegetables, in the past year, I've had carrots, celery, onions. I mean, I know cucumber's a fruit, so I'll take that back, add cucumber to the list, and sweet potatoes. So
that's great. A lot of people ask me about how to make liver more tasteful and how to cook it or incorporate other organ meats on carnivore. Optimal Carnivore can help you do just that with their grass-fed organ complex. It was created by carnivores for carnivores. They start by sourcing 100% grass-fed organ meats from New Zealand, gently freeze-drying the organs and encapsulating them into convenient bovine gelatin capsules. Just 6 of these capsules a day is the same as eating an ounce of raw organ meat. I personally take these every single day, as does my wife. Even though we both eat liver and other organ meats, our ancestors would have eaten the whole animal. And this unique blend has 9 different organs, including beef liver, brain, thymus, kidney, spleen, etc. And I think it's great to get a daily dose of these organs when you can. So it covers all your bases, whether you're at home or traveling. What's also cool is they plant a tree for every product sold, which helps the environment. So visit www.optimalcarnivore.com/carnivorecast and use the code carnivore10 to receive 10% off your purchase. Thanks, and back to the show. What have you noticed in terms of your own enjoyment, health, digestion, anything from adding back in some of those foods?
Well, we had a vacation recently, and we were having sweet potatoes like almost every day. And if I have sweet potatoes almost every day, my knees will hurt more. So there's that. And then we've been putting on seasonings on our burgers. We eat a lot of burgers. Burgers and eggs are like our staple foods. So with the burgers, we'll season them with garlic powder, and I will smell more. I definitely need to put more deodorant on. But other than that, I feel like for me, I like the variety, I like the flavor, I like the taste. And I do think that there are some phytonutrients in fruits and vegetables that, since my body can digest them, since I don't have a condition where I'm going to binge after having some fruit, for me, it just works mostly, I would say, because I'm just trying to get in. I would say the vegetables and fruits are like fine tuning mechanisms for me. So it's just a little fine tune ups.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned like since putting yourself out there to the world, you've learned that carnivore hasn't been. You don't have to eat 100% carnivore all the time. What inspired you to put yourself out there and like start sharing your story and have more of a presence online?
I'm a big reader. So a book I read was called The Millionaire Messenger by Brennan Burchard. And that book, it just like finally pushed me to do it. Where he says that we all have a story and that our story can really help people. And if we all shared our story, then we would be able to help, like everybody would be helping each other as like a community. And so I saw Mr. Beast, one of the top YouTubers. Mr. Beast, he gives away money, gives away cars. And it was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to give to people in that way as well. So I have I would say a more or less unique story for growing up in my childhood. So then I wanted to get that message out there just once, but I didn't want to focus my YouTube channel on that. And instead I wanted to make people smile, make people happy by making crafts. So initially my YouTube channel was just about how can I bring joy to people through making crafts and send my crafts out around the world. And I'm going to be like Mr. Beast. And I'm going to be giving people awesome things. And they're going to be so excited to receive a Lillie craft. Quickly realized in a few months it started not really picking up. I was giving away AirPod Pros. People would just like subscribe and then like unsubscribe once they found out who the winner was. And I just started trying new things. I started putting out videos on like what's trending, what to get your man for Valentine's Day, what I eat in a week. Whoa. What I eat in a week. That was it. Like it just blew up. I was getting like 100 views on a video. And then that video to this day has over 250,000 views. And to this day, yeah, it was not what I was expecting. At that time when I posted the video too, I had to look up. I was like, what type of diet do I eat? Oh, it's called a carnivore diet. Got it. Because I like just ate this way, not to like for anybody, not for any reason. I just ate carnivore to eat carnivore because of simplicity. And then that's when the questions came in. What about vegetables? What about fruits? What about coffee? And so then the rest was history.
Yeah, that's really cool. And what, I guess, talking about content creation since then, what are the different types of videos you have today and which are your favorite to make and maybe which are the hardest to make?
Okay. Wow. That's a loaded question. I do interviews with people and that's really fun because I get to like talk to people versus talk to myself all day. And then I think I enjoy making recipes sometimes because it like takes me out of my comfort zone because usually I'll just eat burgers and eggs. And that's it. So it's nice to like sometimes mix it up. I actually don't love the what I eat in a week videos because I feel like those are an easy target to like, I'm doing something wrong in everybody's mind all the time. I'm eating the wrong kind of eggs. I'm drinking the wrong kind of water, which is fine. It's fine with me. But I think that everybody should be doing what is best for them. And so when people try to like replicate what I'm doing or try to copy or mimic what I'm doing, I just like, it doesn't feel right in my heart sometimes because I feel like unless you are 25, 5'2", 115 pounds, like exactly my person and genetics and same trauma and all these things, then you shouldn't be eating the same as me. Yeah. But I just like to make people laugh and like having fun. So a lot of my content, I'll be singing or dancing or just like being a goofball, which depending on the audience, some people love it, some people hate it, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love the mix of your content. I think your channel is really fun and educational at the same time. And I think it was so cool to see like the whole travel experience with you getting engaged in Zion. I went there a few years back with my wife, and so it holds a lot of memories for me. But that's really cool. And what are a really cool thing you talk about on your channel is strategies for improving health and happiness outside of diet. So can you talk about some of those and maybe how they fit in with carnivore, or maybe they don't?
Sure. I would say something that I prioritize over everything. And this has been something that ever since I was a little kid, I heard that before the age of 25, if you don't get 9.5 hours of sleep, your brain's still developing and you need to get that sleep. Whether or not that is true, I believed it. And I just turned 25. So I have been getting my 9.5 hours ever since then.
Wow.
Even in college, I was like,
that's awesome.
I'm going to bed at 9:00 and I'm not studying. I'm not staying up late. And it really worked for me. I feel like there's a lot going on in the world, and people can get sucked into watching TV or watching the news or doing something, and then their sleep falls, takes the wayside. So I think sleep to me is the number one importance, because let's say I'm eating the most healthy, clean, perfect diet, and then I get 1 hour of sleep. Like, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to be incredibly healthy. So sleep is not number one, but it's also tough because I feel like reducing stress is also up there on the list. But then it's like, okay, what's more important? And I'd love to hear what you have to say about this too, but what do you think is more important? Reducing stress or getting quality sleep? Because I feel like if you get a good night's sleep, then, or if you don't sleep well, then in the morning, the next day, you're going to be more stressed. And then if you're more stressed, you're going to be tossing and turning at night. You're not going to be able to fall asleep. So I can't decide if reducing stress or getting quality sleep is most important, but those are on my top list.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. Those are definitely intertwined. I also get stressed by not sleeping well and just thinking about the fact that I'm not sleeping well. I think, it's really interesting. I definitely advocate like getting more sleep, getting quality sleep all the time. But I almost feel like in our community of, health conscious people, too much of the message is around, here's all the bad things that will happen to you if you don't sleep well. And so many people, at least I talk to, are already like obsessed with their sleep. And that almost just makes them more neurotic about it. So I'm always careful to be like, you have to get more sleep. Shame on you if you're not sleeping enough. Like, these are all the benefits of sleep. Because I don't want to like fearmonger and make people crazy. But yeah, I totally agree with you that like sleep and stress. I think Dr. Kevin Stock, I've had him on a few times. He has said like he would rather have amazing sleep and eat terrible diet than the other way around. And I agree with that. I think it's so crucial.
Right. Yeah. And he's in St. Louis too. I'm gonna try to get together.
Oh, yeah, you definitely should. I feel like you would hit it off.
Yeah. Other things I guess that I do too are I like to get outside each day. And that's something that I feel like we are inside these light bulbs, inside of like a stressor on the body would be if there's mold in the house. So getting outside, I think, is very important. And then what I do when I'm outside is I typically walk. And I think also walking is very important too, as well as like just getting in general body movement, because it's super easy to be at the office all day, be on the couch at home. So getting up, getting some body movement. I personally like to go to the gym a few times a week, and do heavy lifting. Though my lifting is not nearly as good as it has been when it has more carbs, but it's at least I feel like I'm building strength, because having a stronger body is going to keep me fresh when I'm 100 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like all your years of good sleep have just made you wiser in so many ways. And can you talk about like what you're passionate about going forwards, or what you're excited about for the future? Maybe where you want to take your channel, new stuff you're interested in, or goals you have?
Sure. I've gone back and forth on like doing coaching with people, because I want to like help people. I can't really help people through just like a video. I've tried making videos. I'm like, okay, if you want to start your health journey, like start with this video, and then I'll see you in the next video. But at the same time, like it's really difficult if you just can't talk to somebody and see like where they're coming from. But at the same time, I have an internal debate on, do I want to help a lot of people a little bit, or help a little people a lot? So I just want to keep growing my channel and just whoever people can have free content. I want that to be available for people. So I guess my goal is to just grow the channel, bring more positive news. I really don't want to get into talking about the C word that's all over the news. But if I do end up doing that, I want to do it in a way where it's empowering people and making people have less fear.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's not like, You don't have to do all one or the other, by the way. I think you can like dabble in coaching people, and you can always change your mind too. But I think, I personally get a lot of fulfillment out of one-on-one coaching. Like, I love the podcast. I love engaging with my audience. I love talking to guests. And I think a lot of people apparently like it and get value out of it. And I reach way more people that way than I could ever reach in one-to-one coaching. But at the same time, it's really nice to just connect with someone one-on-one, and try to help them sort through their problems. Because so many people who come to this lifestyle or this way of eating, I think, are in such a place of desperation where they really feel like they need help. And if you can just be a little bit of light and hope and give them a little bit of advice, it's amazing. So selfishly, I really like doing a little bit of that.
That's great. I love your content too. I love listening to everyone's stories.
Oh, thank you. It's all about the guests. Well, great, Lillie. This has been fantastic. I think everyone should go check out your channel. I'm certainly addicted to it, always watching new videos. Where can folks find out more about you? And I'll also link everything in the show notes as well.
My YouTube channel is Lillie Kane. On Instagram, I don't know who has Lillie Kane as their profile, but I couldn't have it. So it's Lillie Kane _YouTube. I have a Facebook page, Lillie Kane, and I have an Etsy shop if people want some meat swag.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out, and I'll link all of that. Thanks again for your time today, Lillie. It's been great.
Thank you.
If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the Carnivore Cast on Patreon. By becoming a patron, you'll help us reach more people and continue to create content on Carnivore. There are also exclusive perks available, such as private Q&As, consultations with me, and more. Become a supporter at patreon.com/carnivorecast. Check the episode description for the link. Thank you, and I'll see you there. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Carnivore Cast. If you enjoyed this episode, please review on iTunes. It really helps us out. And share it with a friend. What questions would you like answered, or who would you like to hear from in the carnivore research community? You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Carnivore Cast, or go to carnivorecast.com. You can also email me at info@carnivorecast.com. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep it carnivore.